What is up, Flyover family? Welcome to the 7th episode of the In-Season Grind Show. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, including the Eagles' 16-9 victory over the Detroit Lions, the latest Eagles injury report. Without further ado, let's just fly into it. So my thoughts on our 16-9 victory over the Detroit Lions. I gotta say, the biggest thing that stands out to me is our defense. We didn't allow anything on fourth down in terms of conversions. We only allowed three third down conversions, and we stopped them on third down 10 times. But even then, we didn't allow anything on fourth down, so I mean that does kind of matter. Made them punt 4 times. Cooper DeJean, he caught an interception. Jalen Phillips and Kobe Dean both got sacks. Jordan Davis, he's probably having a career year. He has 6 batted passes, which is first in the league, 18 solo tackles, which is fifth in the league, 3 sacks, which is 12th. He's also earned Defensive Player of the Week and Special Teams Player of the Week this year. Overall, like in terms of like the totality of like the team, like everybody, um, tackling has improved and things of that nature. Adoree himself, he went from basically unplayable and things of that nature, and a major concern to, hey, maybe he got his confidence back and things of that nature, like he was talking about in the locker room. And dare I say, he's even been good or have case made a couple plays here and there, a couple pass breakups, a couple good tackles, like behind like the sticks or however the case. So um, either way it goes, a lot of credit to him or however the case. The entire defense as a whole, from coaching to players to execution, this defense is good enough to win another Super Bowl. All Jalen Hurts needs to do is audible probably 2 or 3 touchdowns a game. Two, even or have the case. That's 14 points a game. That's all we need is 14, 15, 16, something like that. 14 to 18 points a game, something like that. 14 to 20 in terms of that, in terms of how many points we need to score. And also not turn the ball over and things of that nature. But I'm glad we won and things of that nature. I'm also glad that our defense as a unit might be like a generational, like legendary defense, like the Legion of Boom, the Steel Curtain, and things of that nature. Um, and heck, I mean, I'll get into that here in a second. As a matter of fact, um, we all know the offense sucks, or however the case. I'm not going to spend too much time wasted on that, or however the case. Although, the only thing I will say is for this season, just this season. We're not talking about last year, however the case. Last year can't carry nobody for the rest of their career. You know what I'm saying? Everyone does have to replicate, or however the case may be. Except for Brandon Graham, he's always the newest legend. Except for him and Lane Johnson. Him and Lane Johnson is exempt from this, or however the case. But just this year for this year, Jalen Hurts is completing 68.9% of his passes, which is up like 0.1% from last year. However the case, 112 pass rating, which is up a bit from last year. 12th best completion percentage versus zone coverage. 4th best completion versus man. Best completion percentage under pressure. He has the 5th best deep ball completion this year. He has the 10th best true completion percentage. And Jalen's doing all that with a garbage offensive line, no offensive coaching staff, no head coach. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it despite having a crybaby ass receiver that stops running routes mid route. You know what I'm saying? Or says stupid shit in interviews. He's doing all that despite not having any offensive coaching staff, despite the offensive line being garbage, despite, wide receiver one being kind of a diva. I'm sorry. He is kind of a diva. I'm sorry. He's kind of a crybaby. I'm sorry to tell you, he is. I love AJ Brown or have the case. I still have him on my wall or have the case. That's his picture right by the Eagles thing right there. That's literally his picture right there. That's AJ. That's Arthur Jawan Brown. AJ Brown. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad we won and things of that nature, but, I can't say, oh, it's Jalen Hurts' fault, you know what I'm saying? Because I actually take the time to look at it or however the case. He's doing the best he can despite not having a line and not having any play calling. And really only two, like, viable passing options. If one of them's stopping mid-route, I'm sorry, that's not viable. It's not viable. You need to run like you're getting the ball every freaking time, especially if you're winning. Especially if you're winning. Like man, like don't hold Jalen back or however the case just because the offensive coordinator's trash. Like, come on now. I'm just saying. Eagles official news. The offensive line is still banged up. Cam Jurgens did return to practice from his concussion. His knee wasn't listed, so it should be good to go. So he's listed as a full practice participant, and he will play versus Dallas, according to an update at on Saturday at like 6 or 7 p.m. depending on your time zone, like 5 to 7 depending on your time zone. But yeah, so we should play versus Dallas and things of that nature. Lane Johnson, he was originally thought to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a Len Frank foot injury or something like that, but since it does not need surgery, he will be out for basically a month or however the case, instead of the extra 2 weeks or however. So he'll probably be out for like 2 or 3 weeks or however the case, knowing Lane Johnson as tough as he is, since it didn't require surgery. But no guarantees or however the case. The report just says within a month, according to Adam Schefter, according to Jeff McLean, according to all the official reporters and things of that nature that get their news a heck of a lot faster than I possibly can. That's the latest information about Pave the Lane Johnson. He himself has been great this season. So when I say the offensive line, that's the unit, not just one guy. One guy is great or however the case. I mean, there's at least four pass rushers, at least the two defensive tackles and the defensive ends or however the case, or at least in a three-man front, the one guy in the middle just to clog it up, and then two ends or however the case. So at least three. I mean, I don't think any team in the league has a good enough line or however the case to run a two-man front. So I mean, there's at least three pass rushers. So I mean, one elite guy isn't enough. So even then, that is something to worry about versus Dallas or however the case, because he is for sure out versus Dallas. Miles Hinton had a back injury, or however the case. He's questionable versus Dallas, or however the case. So, but he hasn't been elevated, or however the case. Just his practice window. Willie Lampkin had a knee and ankle injury, or however the case. That's what's listed, but he practiced fully. But he's questionable to play versus Dallas, or however the case. But I think he has like one more game to be activated, or else he has to like stay on like the practice squad or something like that. But Jalen Phillips, he had a shoulder injury. That's kind of frightening to see, or however the case, especially like with the injury-prone reputation that he kind of has, or however the case. Because I, went to a couple of Dolphin spaces and things of that nature around the trade deadline. See what they thought about him, and there was a couple unbiased ones and things of that nature, and there's a couple haters that didn't really like him to begin with. But one thing that everyone pretty much said, or however the case, was that he was injury-prone, or however. But now that he's an Eagle, I'm personally rooting for him, or however the case. So he has played damn good for us in the two games he has played, and he will play versus Dallas. So it's not like he's missing a game or however. But I'm just saying, the fact that a guy that's supposed to be making tackles or however the case and does make tackles and gets past offensive linemen, shoulder is very very important. I don't know if it's this shoulder or that shoulder, but I'm just saying, I like to talk with my hands or however the case. But either way it goes, hope he gets well or however the case. Even though the game's literally tomorrow, I'm recording this at like 7:30 my time or however. Like day before the game or however, so I can get all the news up to date as humanly possible and all that good stuff. So Devontae Smith doesn't have an injury designation, but he's traveling to Dallas away from the team for personal reasons. I hope it's not like drama or however the case about him, hating something about the team or however the case. But I don't know, that's all according to Friday's injury report and verified reporters and things of that nature in terms of the Devontae Smith thing. Again, there's no injury report on Devontae Smith, but there was like a report saying that he was traveling to Dallas away from the team for personal reasons. Wish him the best and all that good stuff for however the case. What do you think about the Lions game and things of that nature? And things of that nature, anything, related or however the case. But week 12 versus Dallas, kind of, beating a dead horse on this one or however the case. But the offensive keys to victory are great offensive line play, good play calling, capitalizing on opportunities given by our defense, because I assume our defense will get a turnover on downs, or however the case, favorable field position. Take advantage of their not so good secondary, or however the case. We do need great wide receiver play, running back play, and quarterback play. Um, 2 or 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's a pretty good game by a quarterback, or however the case. So, I mean, hopefully, or however. Defensively, kind of like the same thing. Now, this isn't beating a dead horse. It's just, doing what we've done for the majority of the year so far. Stopping the run, pass rush getting home early and often. DBs being sticking coverage and breaking up passes and making plays on the ball. Whether that be breaking up passes or getting the interception or however the case may be, or even a a forced fumble and fumble recovery, or however the case may be. But getting off the field faster, however the case, not tiring themselves out if they can. I mean, we have elite athletes on that side of the ball: Jalen Carter, uh, Jalen Phillips, Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, Jahad Campbell, Ty Robbins. I mean, elite athletes. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't just, you know, one day, once we build the community and things of that nature, I'll like live stream and things of that nature, and I'll like be able to explain what I mean better, however the case. But no point in rambling now. But yeah, what I mean by getting off the field fast is making the plays, preferably 3-and-outs or interceptions or however the case. So in late game situations, we still have that extra juice or however the case from not being on the field so long in the earlier stages of the game. So. Um, kind of like the same thing or have the case. Number 5, kind of pick sixes, turnovers of any kind or have the case. Give the offense good field position. Number 6, this one's kind of new. Jalen Phillips staying healthy or have the case. We desperately need him or have the case for the rest of the season and playoffs. And also being greatly effective or however the case. So staying healthy and being greatly effective or however the case for the long haul of the season and things of that nature. I don't particularly have a score prediction, but I'm always rocking with our birds or however the case. In this case, especially when we face Dallas, I hope we blow them out and take the first step to fixing the offense or however the case. And how would that be fixing the offense, you may ask? Because that would basically like hint or that would imply that it would have good play calling or however the case may be, and maybe they turned a corner, feel of the game and things of that nature. And if we see this, we'll do this, and then they'll get better at diagnosing things or however. I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying. Regardless if I like the coaching staff or not, I'm trying. I'm trying to be optimistic there. But realistic, you know what I'm saying? Realistically speaking, I kind of see it being a close and ugly game, or however the case, win or lose, um, and things of that nature. So to kind of wrap it all up, I'm glad we beat the Lions. Our offensive coaching staff is worthless. Our head coach is worthless. Um, I hope our whole offensive line heals fast and gets back to playing good. You know what I'm saying? Because as of now, they're playing like trash. That's really the only thing holding Barkley back. Um, but I do hope, we get healthy and things of that nature and fix the offensive line and play calling and things of that nature. Last week I said, Jalen Phillips might be Jalen Carter's co-star, however the case. But after the Lions game, simply on the defense and simply on his role, I'm completely sold, or however the case, after seeing what he did to Penny Sewell, accidentally or not, or however the case, regardless if he didn't mean to, or however the case, you know, um, after seeing that, seeing the potential that he can free up Jalen Carter and things of that nature. The Eagles like flap Sally or have a case. In my opinion, I automatically love when a player does this. They automatically become a top 5 player. I love when a player does this. If you're an Eagle, you gotta freaking do it. You gotta do it, especially in Kelly Green, especially what I'm saying, at home or however the case may be, or even away. Even away games. You gotta do this. If you're an Eagle, if you make a good player, or if you're getting a touchdown, you got to do this. I'm sorry. That has to be one of the best parts about playing for an Eagle, or playing for the Eagles. I'm sorry, not playing for an Eagle, but playing for the Eagles. Um, but yeah, the numbers he's putting up, his motor, his hunger to be great. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely Jalen Carter's co-star. He is Jalen Carter's co-star, 100%. As long as he stays healthy. That's the only asterisk or however the case. If he stays healthy, he's Jalen Carter's co-star. And I've been saying, or however the case, that defense might be historically great, or however the case, considering last year and this year, with the addition with the addition of Jalen Phillips, Andrew Makuba, you know what I'm saying, Jahad Campbell, bringing BG back, Uche, who's flashed at times, you know what I'm saying. Um, I think that kind of overpowers at least a little bit what we lost, or however the case. Yeah, sure, Makai Becton, or however the case, but defense does win championships. That is a fact. Um, and in my opinion, this defense looks sharper, tougher, stronger, more physical, or however the case, and better overall than last year. How he did miss, on a few moves this year, however the case, I think he should have re-signed Becton and, Rogers, or however the case. But to be completely fair, Makuba, Jahad, Jalen, Phillips, or however the case, re-signing Bond, bringing him back, or however the case, bringing BG back. Those moves have overpowered, the losses, at least for the most part. Um, but I'm curious, well, what do you guys think about the wins over the Packers, the Lions, and things of that nature? What do you guys think we have to do to beat Dallas? What are you guys' keys to victory, or however the case, or comment what you like so far, dislike so far this year, or anything Eagles related? And I will get to it as soon as possible. But all that said, that is all I have for you guys today. I just want to thank you so much for choosing Philly Flyover Network and making it part of your day. As many of you may know, Philly Flyover Network is where you get authentic Eagles passion you can trust. I'm not always right, you know what I'm saying? So that passion, may be misunderstood, or, I may be wrong when I say things or whatever. But at the end of the day, we all want Lombardis. That's the key thing. We all want the Eagles, you know what I'm saying? To get as much Lombardis as humanly possible, or however the case within our lifetime. I'm pretty sure we all want that. All genuine Eagles fans want Eagles to win as many Lombardis as possible. That's what we all want. We may have different tactics, we may have different strategies of how we want to do that, or however the case. Some of my tactics may be wrong, some of my takes about other things may be wrong, or however the case. Last year about the defensive line, or however the case, and things of that nature. I think we were kind of all wrong as Eagles fans about Adoree Jackson, or however the case. He kind of has, stepped up the last couple weeks. So, definitely, got to see some more from him in terms of consistency. If he can, close out the year clean, or however, maybe, he can earn another contract somewhere, and, show the world he can still play a little bit. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm not always right, you know what I'm saying? But I do try to always admit when I'm wrong and things of that nature. Um, because I'd rather be wrong, or however the case, and just be like, hey, I was wrong, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the times, if I'm wrong about something, it'll help the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the defensive line's not good enough. If the defensive line is good enough, that'll help the team. Simple things like that, or however the case. I don't say like bad things. There's things to be wrong about, or however the case. That's gonna be like bad for the team, or however the case. I mean, that's where I really don't pay attention to the AJ drama, or however the case may be. I mean, I talk about it limitedly, but in terms of that, I can't force him to stay. If he doesn't want to be here, if he hates Jalen, I can't force him to like him. He ain't gonna listen to me. But overall, but yeah, not to ramble too much, or however the case. I am trying to get a team together so I can get higher quality content out for you guys at a more consistent pace, or however the case. Because I do realize that's the one thing I have been struggling with is consistency, and I have been working tirelessly to put a team together and things of that nature. So Philly Flyover Network can take the next step. If you guys can, please like, comment, and subscribe, so maybe YouTube will stop taking our hard-earned views and things of that nature. But all that said, God bless you all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Philly out. Peace.